Hi guys, it's Dom Quixote for fxray.com and welcome to another fabulous Photoshop tutorial. We're gonna create a movie poster inspired by the Ides of March, where a guy is holding a magazine like this one, or maybe even this one. I love that one. But before we start, I have good news for you. We finally are on Facebook, so make sure to like our site and never miss a tutorial. Okay, let's get started. My friend Matthias wants to be president of the United States. Let's help him get dressed properly by creating a selective color adjustment layer and changing the blues relatively to 100, 100, minus 75. Change the yellows as well to 5, 0, minus 15, minus 15. And create a new levels adjustment layer to brighten up the midtones. Switch to the image layer and select the background with the quick selection tool. And if you have problems with the head area, activate sample all layers, so the tool now recognizes our levels adjustment. Select and hide this layer and create a new solid color. Pick RGB red, set blend mode to soft light and opacity to about 60%. Create a new empty layer and paint white stripes on the top of the image with a soft brush. Stretch the stripes to the middle, go to filter, blur, motion blur. Select an angle of 90 degrees and the biggest distance. Add layer mask from below, change blend mode to overlay and opacity to 50. Add another motion blur, but this time with an angle of 0 and a distance of 100. Create a new black and white adjustment layer, set the blend mode to soft light, increase reds, yellows and blues, and set opacity to about 60%. Next, select the iris of both eyes and create a new solid color with about HSB to 1080-80. Change the blend mode to soft light and feather the mask with about 3 pixels. Adjust the layer mask with a black brush. If you're asking yourself why a president needs blue eyes, I have no idea. Select all, go to Edit, Copy Merged, Paste and name the layer High Pass. Set blend mode to overlay and go to Filter, Other, High Pass. Set the radius to about 5 pixels and press OK. Group all layer and name it Color Matthias. Open the random guy picture from our website. Right-click on the layer and select Duplicate, and choose Matthias as destination. Close the document and set the opacity of the new layer to 50. Try to match the right side of the face by rotating and scaling. Orientate primarily on the eye, then the nose, mouth and chin. Set opacity back and duplicate background layer on top. Add an inverted layer mask and select a big hot brush. Paint back the blue shirt and make sure that the sweater is completely covered. We'll try to match the background colors in a moment, but first we have to blend the shirt with the face of the random guy. Remember, it's just the right side that's going to be visible. Move the hidden levels layer from Matthias folder to the very top and add a body layer mask. Link the levels with the layer below and try to match the background colors. Once again, just pay attention to the right side. If necessary, adjust the shirt's layer mask. Make sure to zoom in to see all of the details. Select all layers that belong to the random guy and convert them into a smart object. Hide the random guy and create a new folder. We are now starting to create a magazine. Select a rectangle with the marquee tool and create a red solid color. This is going to be the magazine's cover. Press Command T on a Mac to transform the layer mask and enter the warp transformation. Shape your page and don't pay attention to Photoshop's graphic bug. When done, duplicate the layer and name it Frame, change the color to bright yellow, and scale it down proportional on the top, right and bottom edge. Create another duplicate and name it Green Screen. Change the color to, you got it, and scale it down slightly so the frame becomes visible. Move random guy on top and link it with green screen, then duplicate the layer. Go to Filter, Pixelate, Color Halftone and choose Max Radius of 4. Set blend mode to luminosity and opacity to about 50. Create a new hue saturation adjustment layer and link it with the green screen. Select blue colors and change the shirt's color to white. Add a new levels adjustment layer, link it and increase the brightness. Create a new empty layer and fill it bright yellow. These are going to be the magazine's pages. Make sure that black is the background color and go to Filter, Render, Fibers. Set values to about 20 and 50. Go to Filter, Blur, Motion Blur. Change angle to 90 and distance to max. Squeeze, position and rotate the layer before you bring it behind the cover. Adjust the position if necessary. Then select the polygon tool and frame the pages. It looks more realistic when the pages are rounded on the top and on the bottom. So make sure to subtract the selection with the elliptical marquee tool. When done, create a layer mask. Select the actual layer, press Command M on a Mac and increase the contrast. Press OK, select the cover layer and enter the layer styles. Add gradient overlay, change angle to 0 and set blend mode to multiply. Set opacity to 50 and add pattern overlay. Load the grayscale paper pattern and select craft paper. Change blend mode to multiply and press OK. Duplicate the layer and move it on top. Re-enter style settings, set fill opacity to 0 and deactivate pattern overlay. Switch to gradient overlay and edit the gradient settings by dragging the white point to the left. Change opacity to 45. Name the layer shadow and create another duplicate. Open layer style and go to gradient overlay. Adjust the gradient by adding white and a black so it looks as if the magazine has shadows and highlights. You can define a gradient even better when you move the dot between two colors. Set the blend mode to soft light and decrease the opacity to 30. Select the text tool and type ME with the font Times and change the font color to red. Press OK and confirm. Scale and position the font. Before you transform a text layer, you have to rasterize it. Right-click on a layer and select Rasterize Type. Select the M and squeeze it. Select the whole layer and enter Warp Transformation mode. Try to imitate the shape of the cover. Group the text layer and add a layer mask to the group. Create a new empty layer and paint 2 white stripes on the bottom of the cover. Stretch the stripes vertically and squeeze them horizontally. Go to Filter, Blur, Motion Blur and use the last settings. Repeat the filter by pressing Command F on a Mac. Then position the reflection. Duplicate the layer and move it to the left. Apply Motion Blur but this time with angle 0 and distance 50. Merge both layers and create a duplicate. Move the new layer to the bottom of the cover and decrease opacity to 60. I'm not really happy with the text layer, so let's transform it a little bit more or a little bit different. And let's move the reflection a little bit more to the right. And as we are correcting things right now, select the page layer and enter the layer style. Add a gradient overlay with angle 0 and scale 150. Blend mode multiply and opacity 60. Okay, open the hand image. Select the hand with the quick selection tool. Subtract the background and the space between the fingers. When done, press Command C to copy the hand. Switch back to our main document and paste it. First of all, we need to transform the hand to its right size. Put your hand on your face to get a feeling for the proportion. Add a new levels adjustment layer and link it with the hand. Try to match color and brightness of the face. In comparison, the hand is too dark and too red. That's why I made it brighter and added a little bit green and yellow. Create a new empty layer below the hand. Select a black soft brush and paint a shadow. For now, I'm using 80% opacity, but I'm going to repaint the shadow with maybe 60% to let it look like more realistic. When done, go to Filter, Blur, Motion Blur and select an angle that matches the position of the fingers and a distance of about 150. Lower the opacity to about 80 and copy the cover layer mask. Create a new layer and drag the layer mask on it. Invert and unlink the layer mask and paint a shadow. Go to Filter, Blur, Motion Blur, select an angle of 90 and a distance of about 650. Select all of the new layers and group them into a hand folder. Create another folder and name it Color. Create a vibrance adjustment layer and set the values to 30 and 20. Add a black and white adjustment layer and set the blend mode to soft light. Set reds to 25, yellows to 250 and blues to about 100. Finally, set opacity to about 80. That's it guys, great post in under 10 minutes. See you soon on fxray.com.